Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me Shail Bhatnagar. Well, as far as the markets are concerned, remember the Indian equity benchmarks have gained for the second consecutive week, which ended on Friday, adding nearly 3% in these last 2 weeks, especially the kickstarting of the December FNO series that started on Friday was definitely on a positive note, with the markets gaining nearly 1% in trade as well. But just as the bulls were preparing for probably a comeback of sorts, fact comes the second quarter GDP number, which actually turned out to be way below expectations in terms of the shocker that it gave of 5.4%, a seven-quarter low figure in terms of the pace of growth for the Indian economy, while the street estimates were as high as 6.5% for many of the economists right there. We'll have to see how the markets react to that one. On the other hand, China's manufacturing PMI has risen to 50.3 in November, signaling accelerated expansion as well. So we'll have to see how the markets really look at that slowing growth figure, as well as the eyes will be on RBI's upcoming policy meeting as to how do they react to this slowing figure as well. Well, apart from that, when we look at the kind of global cues we've got is pretty positive. When we look at the US markets, even on the short Black Friday session, a lot of those markets, especially Dow Jones, they hit a record high level as well. The FIs, however, continue to be net sellers, but we'll have to just see how things pan out in trade for this new week starting Monday. Good morning to all our viewers and good morning, Shail. Welcome back.
Good morning, Sakshi. It's good to be back home. And most likely we will see a flat to negative week for the beginning of December and as also Monday. Lots of negativity seeping back into the markets, and most likely you will see the test of 200-day DMA back on the Nifty as far as Monday's trade is concerned, maybe a gap down and a bit of an acceleration towards the downside. The last time 200-day DMA tested was on 13th of November when the Nifty hit 23,500, and then there was a 5-day session around the 200-day DMA. Lots of markets, mainly on account of this GDP shocker that has come in. So Friday's close of 24,131 and its subsequent test of 21-day exponential moving average will now see the index retest 23,533. Let's see whether it happens today or whether it happens over a period of 2-3 days. Only time will tell. But a retest is more or less essential, and that is what is going to happen. Nothing much expected in terms of the RBI policy that is going to come on Friday, which is 6th of December. RBI is likely to hold interest rates given the strength of inflation that is there in the market, and the fact that nothing seems to be sort of working in terms of how corporates are supposed to at least start some kind of capex. The reason why we've seen GDP slowing is that in 2024, because of national elections, the government put away from the accelerator of spending, and that is getting reflected in the markets. Our markets ahead of time, which means that they've already reacted to 5.4%. Only time will tell, but this is not looking good, and this is also evident in the way GST numbers are shaping up. This is also evident in the way how auto numbers are coming in, how monthly sales data is coming in, how power consumption has slowed down. All that is getting impacted in the markets. So a flat to negative week this time, and if you look at how dramatically we are underperforming Wall Street, it is something worrying. You mentioned a record high on Dow. If you look at how our indices are placed in terms of the global structure, if you look at the 1 month performance, Nifty is down 0.7% against Dow Jones, which is up 6.8%, Nasdaq, which is up 5.3%, and S&P 500, which is up 5.3%. So these are signs that are coming in from the market. Look at how crude oil is flat. Look at how US 10-year yield is not doing anything yet. But we are now following and falling on our own negative as well as soft cues that are coming in from the market. As far as intraday positioning is concerned, apart from the auto space where you see Mahindra and Mahindra looking good, but Maruti, especially TVS Motors and Eicher Motors, might see a dip as far as individual stock performances are concerned, but strength seen in metals, strength seen in energy, and of course the realty space on the back foot, FMCG, and of course software. Sakshi.
Right. So as far as the global cues are concerned, remember Dow Jones and the S&P 500 ended about 0.4 and 0.5% on Friday night. What we did see is that the Nasdaq also ended about 0.5% higher. But when we look at the oil prices, they declined, marking a 3% weekly drop as concerns on supply risks from Israel-Hezbollah conflict have eased as well. The outlook for supply in 2025 has been increased, which has further pressurized the prices, and even as OPEC Plus is anticipated to extend the output cuts going forward as well. So the Brent crude futures fell about 0.5% to settle at $72.94 a barrel. Gold, meanwhile, has edged higher as of Friday, supported by a weaker dollar and ongoing geopolitical tensions as well. So just about 0.7% of an uptick at $26.60 an ounce. Most of the Asian markets are also looking up right now. When we look at the Nikkei, that's up 0.03%, Kospi 0.2% higher, Hang Seng up 0.2%, the SSE China up by 0.7%. And this is, remember, right ahead of the key economic data from various regions that's going to be coming in as well. So that will be important. But the GIFT Nifty trends are now indicating as absolute muted start. 24,336 is what it is indicating, about a 0.25% low in trade. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that as well. As far as the flows are concerned, remember, the overseas investors, they remained net sellers for the Indian equity markets for the second consecutive day on Friday. And we did see how the domestic institutional investors remained buyers for the third consecutive session. So the FPI has offloaded stocks worth about 4,383 odd crores, and the DIS purchased 5,723 odd crore rupees worth of stocks right there. Let's look at some of the stocks that we can keep an eye out on today and the pockets that will be of importance. Again, remember, the Adani group will be in focus yet again. After 3 days of consecutive rally that we've seen last week, many of the stocks have already, recovered what they had lost post the US indictment and the bribery charges had come in. So, say stocks like Adani Total Gas, they're up almost 50% in the last 3 days. Similarly, for Adani Green, it's already risen about 23% in just a single day. That was after getting included in the F&O space as well. So, all the group stocks will be in focus, and this is also important because Gautam Adani, the chairman of the group, also came out and did talk about how this is definitely a challenging time for the group. But he also referred to every attack on Adani Group is making them stronger. Those were the words of confidence that were coming in from Gautam Adani, and that's something that we will see how the markets as well as the Adani Group reacts to. Auto sales, of course, will be important. Remember, for Hero Moto, for TVS Moto, for Maruti, what we've seen is largely inline set of numbers coming in. Passenger vehicle sales have maintained their momentum driven by SUVs and electric vehicles, while commercial vehicles and tractors have actually struggled with a subdued demand. Hyundai has come in below estimates right there. So we'll keep an eye out on all the auto numbers. Greaves Cotton will be in focus. Remember, Greaves approved Biocon's Yesintech, a biosimilar for multiple diseases. Another positive one for the firm. Mapma India will be in focus. It's going to be investing in new B2C ventures right there. We will get to see how that one also reacts. Cipla will be in focus. The promoters aim to raise 2,000 crores through share sale. Samana and Rumana Hamid plan to sell approximately 1.4 crore shares today. Floor price has been set at 1442. From the healthcare pack, again, Aster DM Healthcare will be in focus. The company, and as well as Blackstone and TPG backed Quality Care India, will merge through share swap agreement to become India's #3 hospital maker. So that will be important as well. From the defense pack, I'll keep an eye out on Cochin Shipyard. It signed a 1,000 crores contract with the Ministry of Defence for short refit and dry docking of a large Indian naval ship, and the project is expected to last about 5 months or so. We'll also keep an eye out on RVNL from the railways pack. The company has emerged as the lowest bidder from PSCL for an infra project worth about 643 odd crore rupees in Punjab. KEC International, again, order flows coming in. It secured 1040 odd crore rupees of an order for transmission and distribution business in the international markets right there. So we'll keep an eye out on that one as well. So those are some of the stocks that I can keep an eye out on, Shail.
Ladies and gentlemen, as also this is the last month of calendar 2024 and the first month where a lot of changes in the F&O space have taken place. New entrants have come into the December F&O expiry, about 45 of them, and of course you have the weekly expiries taken out by the market watchdog, which is SEBI. So monthly expiries on the Nifty again on Thursday, and of course will be expiring on Tuesday. So this is how the structure of December is. It's going to be a painful readjustment because if you remember, the weekly options contracts were priced at 1/4 or 1/5 the price of the monthly contract. So now you will see volumes dry up initially as traders adjust to higher values of the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. Of course, mid cap and fin cap Nifty as well will also ease a bit. So a readjustment in the F&O space is most likely, and as Sakshi has pointed out, new entrants such as Adani Green in the F&O space are likely doing pretty well. But one stock that needs everyone's attention is Bharti Airtel. A stock which is around 1627. Friday was a wonderful day when you saw a 4.2% uptick. The all-time high for Bharti is somewhere in the vicinity of 1773. This was on 26th of September. So a nice swing trade is there in the making as far as Bharti Airtel is concerned. And for those who are interested in autos, ladies and gentlemen, the new launch that has come in from Mahindra and Mahindra is enthusing not only auto journalists but financial journalists such as us. After a 5-day fall, you've seen M&M rise about 2.3% on Friday. This is something that can be looked forward on the long side. So these two stocks, as also stocks such as Ramco Cement, 1019, it closed 4% higher. But today's mood is likely to be circumspect given the weak GDP numbers, given the fact that MPC is moving ahead, and of course Friday being the D-Day for the RBI policy move. Public sector banks will be in focus. A lot of updates that are coming in from banks such as Federal are showing signs of good traction. Federal Bank, if you remember, is already at a record high as far as markets are concerned. Somewhere like 210 is the last that I watched. The all-time high is 214. Please keep an eye out on Federal Bank as well, Sakshi.
Okay, got that. What we'll also do is keep an eye out on the brokerage houses updates as well. Remember, after the GDP, a lot of brokerage houses has come out with their reports. So Goldman Sachs has now lowered calendar year 2024 FY25 GDP growth forecast to 6.4% and 6% respectively. However, they've maintained CY 25, that's calendar year 25, and FY26 at 6.3% each. Morgan Stanley believes growth may have bottomed and they expect to see a rebound in second half of FY25. They also believe mark-to-market GDP now stands at 6.3% of FY25. JP Morgan has also pointed out how slowing growth trajectory is not a surprise, but the quantum of undershoot is still expected to be a dampener. They expect a base case to remain as a February cut, with the RBI announcing some liquidity measures going forward from here as well. Apart from this, we'll keep an eye out on IndusInd Bank. Morgan Stanley has come out with an equal weight rating, but the target price they've slashed to 1150 from 1400 earlier. They believe the stock price has already fallen about 30% post earnings due to the MFI asset quality concerns, where trends continue to weaken, driving more EPS cuts going forward from here. Apart from this, Bajaj Finance finance is going to be in focus. Jefferies has come out with a buy report here and a target price of 8,400. Even though it has withdrawn from the co-branded credit card partnership with RBL Bank, they believe this reflects reduced scope of work and may have limited impact on loss on made up by lower costs, and they believe the user fee will continue right there. On Adani Ports, Novama has come out with a report saying a buy rating from their side and a target price of 1960. They believe the investor day at Vizhinjam port, the takeaways indicated that the company has reiterated its guidance of 1 billion ton handling volume by 2030. Logistics will be significant growth driver. Significant tech advancements in ports and logistics will be important to track, and they believe therefore these are the key triggers. On Dixon Technologies, Nomura has come out with a buy report and a target price of 18,654. They believe the company has launched this mass production of Google Pixel smartphones. This is going to be a long-term positive for Dixon. China plus one can lead to significant potential growth for Dixon from Google, and therefore they are pretty positive on Dixon Tech right now. So those are the key brokerage houses reports that we can keep an eye out on, Shail.
Ladies and gentlemen, 8:52. We have Mr. Dharmesh Kant, Head of Equity Research at Chola Securities, joining us. Namaste Dharmesh ji, and a very warm welcome, sir. We start December, we start Monday, and we start this week on a back foot. Second quarter GDP has been a shocker, but all that traders and investors are interested in is, have the markets already reacted to this negativity, or is more pain in the pipeline? Good morning and a very warm welcome.
Dharmesh, could you hear what Shail asked you?
Yeah, good morning, Sakshi. I can hear you, but
okay. We'll try and fix the audio. All right, we'll try and fix the audio. Meanwhile, why don't you tell us how are you feeling right at the beginning of December? We did see some signs at the start of the FNO series on Friday, but comes this GDP shocker. Do you think this will again derail the momentum, or and our hopes of Santa coming to town, will they be dashed again?
I think it's more to do with Santa coming to save the market. So GDP, I mean, it was a shocker, definitely. This kind of a slowdown was not expected, but at the same time, it is very much in sync with how the corporate numbers panned out in Q2. It was overall slowdown in the corporate number, same was corroborated in the GDP numbers. And to my mind, and the question to be answered is whether this is cyclical or structural in nature. I think it's more to do with a structural problem rather than a cyclical problem, because every time there is a slowdown in GDP, we talk about government spending and pulling through the infra, but that's is specific to a particular segment. What is happening is with higher interest rate, the real income in the hands of people are not that great. Right now, you still have 30-40 basis point of a real income in the hands of the people. And when I'm talking about people, it's middle class and lower than that. And that is where the consumption slowdown was seen even in the FMCG and other sectors. So a rich class is doing well, affordable class is doing well, but this is the class where the problem is there. There are three options. Either RBI can cut rate and again reduce the real income in the hands of the people. If they can maintain the status quo, it will take some time, but the economy will eventually recover. And the third is, to my mind, you should increase the interest rates, give more real income in the hands of the people. There will be a slowdown for 3-4 months, but eventually the market is going to, the moment the real income increases in the hands of people, consumption is going to pick up and market will go up. You have to sell this. You have to tell this very clearly. Option one is you can drive the economy through credit advantages. It's a credit-driven economic growth or a real income-driven economic growth. So let's see what choices the government make. Having said that, I don't see much downside in the market. Maybe it may correct on a bad day 3-4% more. But the level of 23,200, which was made in the last fall, in the month of November, is likely to hold. So it's a value pickers market from here on.
Right, Dharmesh, a radical thought that a market that is waiting for a rate cut might get a shocker in terms of a rate hike. Well, let's hope common sense prevails, and whether a rate cut or a rate hike is what the economy needs will be delivered by the RBI on Friday, but most likely we'll have a flat holding of rates in this meeting as well. Let's shift our attention to individual stocks and of course sectors. Where do you see value coming into the market at this level? How do you see markets reacting on Monday? And where is your attention in terms of a possible SIP quality stock that you might want to add in the portfolio?
Yeah, good morning, Jali. See, with the market, I mean, the jury is very clear. International, I mean, FIs and all, they are valuing the market on the basis of the economic fundamentals, and they see, I mean, 6 to 8 months kind of a pain going forward into calendar year 25 for the economy to be there. And that is how even my reading goes, because the measures taken globally and now maybe domestically will be inflationary in nature. So you will have margin, and in a slow consumption where it is slowing down, this inflation will create a problem definitely. So let's see how that happens. And they are selling, domestic institution and retail investors are buying. So we are, very bullish and going with the hope trade that things are eventually it's going to pan out well for the economy, and the duration is likely to be short term for the pain to sustain, and that is where the trade is setting. To my mind, one should be. I mean, we have seen the trades being playing out like the sector. The BEL, they were far, far better numbers than most of the other manufacturing counterpart, and their stocks have shown traction on any decline. So that is one pocket to look into. Even railway infra, we are marching into the budget season, and a lot of spending was left untouched in this fiscal year. So likely it will be topped up with further spending going into the next fiscal year of FY26. So that is one pocket to look forward to. Valuation wise, I think Aircon International is a safer and a cheaper play as compared to an RBNL. So both the companies are attractive, but I would prefer to go with Incor International. And then some utility and stable sectors like hospital chains and all, where we have a coverage on Narayana Hrudayalaya. So we have been citing that. There has even in this fall, this stock price has outperformed the market. It has not corrected. In fact, it has rallied in the entire fall from 10% correction, which we have seen in the market. So that is one pocket to look forward to. And one catch point, I mean, as the consensus and the demand is that interest rate cut should be there. If that happens, I see public sector banks outperforming private sector banking peer share on the basis of the type of last 6 months or 9 months of lending they have done. So they have done credit lending, but to the segments which are more safer. And with government infra push coming into play, they are sweetly poised to reap further benefits of the growth which will come. And there, I think, Canara Bank, Bank of India, or Bank of Baroda is a better pick. So you have to position yourself well going forward for, say, next 2, 3 months and play the budget theme. That is where the juice will like. Fertilizer stocks and all will also come into the same play.
Okay. Got that. Well, we will keep an eye out on all of those pockets right there. And just before the markets hits the pre-open rates, we also have Vaishali Parekh now joining in, Vice President Technical Research and Analysis at Prabhudas Lilladher. Warm welcome. Well, I just want to read out that print in the pre-open trade before I take up your view on the markets. It was a sharp down take of 800 points lower at the first pre-open take. It's improving now, 23,619, still about 500 points lower. This seems to be the GDP shocker to which the markets may be reacting to. Vaishali, what's the sense that you're getting?
Very good morning, all of you. It is once again getting into the corrective move. So when near-term support was at 23,800, if those levels are breaking and if we are sustaining below, then I think maybe we are retesting the previous low of 23,200 and perhaps lower. So let's see how we go.
Okay.
Right. Good morning to you, Vaishali. Bharti, HL and M&M, what are the charts telling you?
So yes, Bharti in fact did very well on Friday, and I made a positive view out of this because we see it was hardly impacted even in the corrective market. It was just a decent corrective retracement, and Friday's candle shows a lot of volume and show strength. So I would say now 1550 acts as a good support. And once we see the stock moving above 1650, I think it's ready for a renewed strength going towards 1700 and so on. And Mahindra and Mahindra also, it took its time for consolidation, but once again, it has come on the cluster of moving averages. So I would say 2880 should act as a support. And once we see the stock moving about 3000, 3020, I think this would give us higher targets. So yes,
Okay.
right now it shows strength. 2880 should be the support to look into.
Okay, got that. Okay, so things settling in now as far as the pre-open trade is concerned. We are back above 24,000 mark, 115 points lower in trade. That's still, an okay number to really look at, and more sensible number to really look at in terms of the reaction on the markets as far as the GDP is concerned. But let's look at some of the heavyweight counters as well to see how those are reacting. Let's look at the banking counters, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, to see how are they reacting. About 2.5% lower for HDFC Bank, about 1753 odd levels. Let's also pull up some of the other stocks. ICICI, however, is showing an uptick of about half odd percent. Let's also look at how some of the heavyweight IT space stocks are doing at this point in time. Reliance Industries is indicating a 0.8% lower trade, 1281 right now. Let's also look at Infosys, TCS. TCS is indicating a 4% downtick right now at 4,092. Let's also pull up Infosys. Wipro will also be in focus, remember, ahead of the bonus announcement right there. So we'll look at how that one will be reacting to. 1.1% lower for Infosys at 1837 odd levels. Wipro, however, is indicating an opening of about 2 odd percent uptick, 589. Let's also pull up some Adani Group stocks to see how are they reacting. Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports, and even Adani Green for that matter. Let's look at how these are also reacting in trade. Adani Enterprises is indicative of an opening about 1% higher at 2490. What about Adani Ports? That's also got a brokerage house upgrade. Adani Green continues to be in a strong showing, 5% higher nearly at 1388. Let's also pull up Adani Ports, 2% higher, 1214 odd levels right now. Adani Energy Solutions, let's also pull up that one that has been also moving in tandem with Adani Green, a 2% uptick at 57 odd levels. Let's quickly get Dharmeshji into the conversation on Adani Group. Dharmeshji, is the confidence fairly returning back? Do you think the worst is behind for Adani Group now that clarifications have come in? The group chairman has himself come about and talked about how these attacks will be making the group stronger, and they're following the legal proceedings as to counter what are the charges that have been placed against them. Your sense on how should one be really looking at them? Already in the last 3 days, there's been quite a bit of a recovery from what had been lost.
I think Sakshi it's too early to give it a call. So
Okay.
these news flows will keep on flowing in and out, and but yeah, the pain would subside. Now it will be more to the procedural aspect of it, how the entire indictment and how it is being settled, how what is the procedure they take, and whether they appear in the court in US and get it settled. So let's see. But value-wise, I do think the Adani ports, I mean, has corrected significantly, and that does give you a valuation comfort at the current level. Business-wise, things are going fine. But normally what happens is whenever there is a corporate governance kind of a thing, and in case it settles the other way around, then there will be a problem coming up. We have seen, many MOUs being cancelled because of this news flow. So, I mean, it's more of a settling of the news flow thing, but the issue is still there. It's not being settled entirely.
Right. Good morning, Vaishali, and a very warm welcome. Good to be back in touch after maybe 3 weeks, and good to hear your voice. Any view that you would have on Bank Nifty?
Very good morning, Shelty. I guess you were on leave, you were traveling, something like that. So, okay, so coming back to Bank Nifty,
Yes, I was trying to increase the Q2 GDP of Europe, but totally unsuccessful. Let us see how it goes. वहाँ पे increase करने के चक्कर में हमारा दिवाला पिट गया.
Yes.
But let's hope the worst is behind us. Any view on Bank Nifty?
So, view on Bank Nifty, 50,800 near-term support. Then we are again looking towards 50,040. continues to be the resistance. Once we see Bank Nifty moving above 53,000, we can get a clarity for further upside.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Sakshi, let me just mark a couple of rates that are doing well. I think it's going to be a pharma day. You had mentioned a block deal on Cipla that's most likely today. So Biocon is the top performer. One of the drugs also doing pretty well, 3.5% higher, 378. Sun Pharma 1.5% higher, 1808. A nice move coming in on Dixon. Please keep an eye out on that. Strong move on TVS Motors post earnings. This is 1.2% higher, 2460. And of course, on the long side is Wipro as well, 582.8% higher. A quick look into the cash market. Cochin Shipyard doing pretty well. The new order flow is boosting sentiment on a stock that has corrected sharply, 3.5% higher, 1632. Petronet LNG is doing pretty well. Remember, the entire government administered natural gas space was beaten black and blue 3 weeks ago when the government decided to reduce the quantity of lower priced administered gas to these publicly distributed companies in terms of natural gas. That kind of movement is coming back. 1.5% higher, and of course you have the likes of Alkyl Amine 1% higher. You have Dalmia Cement doing 1.6% higher. Manyavar, which is Vedant Fashion, 55. So a green tick on the market, ladies and gentlemen. 10 points higher on the Nifty. Nifty Bank from Dharmesh ji on the natural gas space, Petronet LNG, Indraprasth Gas. What are the financials and what are the charts telling you, Dharmesh ji, on these two?
I mean, financials are strong, no doubt over it. But the problem is when these, your profitability gets regulated, and then how do you predict the financials going forward? So, natural gas pricing during winter season, typically seasonality, between you don't have a yardstick to measure that, then it becomes more of a technical or a trading play. So that is the reason why even after the serious fall which these companies saw, we are staying away from recommending them from a buying perspective. But just on the basis of replacement cost or the intrinsic value of the business, they are a great steal at current levels.
Okay, got that. Vaishali, coming back to you, on the pharma space that seems to be in fine shape. Even on Friday, we did see strong moves coming across the board. Where would you keep your, fresh investments flowing into? Would it be like a Cipla and Sun Pharma? Would you also care to go beyond the major, pharma players, maybe even into the healthcare space as well?
Yes, so Sakshi Frontline, of course, Sun Pharma and Cipla, and now even Biocon. Since last week, we were seeing a
Yeah.
positive, it continues to show that. But not to miss the cash category also. I mean, we had recommended Piramal Pharma last week. It has shown a new round of strength once again. So Piramal Pharma, Natco Pharma, they also look
Pharma space to you as well. How are you really navigating through these fresh moves that are coming in? Are you putting, fresh money across the board, the three segments, maybe the diagnostics, healthcare, as well as the major pharma players? Or are you sticking to the large caps to the tune of Sun Pharma, Cipla, Dr. Reddy's, and maybe even a Biocon?
We are sticking to the large caps only. I mean,
Okay.
Sunpharma and Lupin looks good. Lupin, the numbers of last quarter was also quite good compared to the historical, trajectory the company pays. But I mean, again, this is you have to wait till, Mr. Trump, and then the policies and everything will be more clearer from where it is now. So 1.5 months more to go, but they are providing a margin of safety. So you can implement these stocks at current levels, but stick to the large caps.
Okay. One view I needed from you, Vaishali, was on CDSL. This is a stock that you've tracked in great detail. A very sharp rally from mid-November onwards, which is again propelled the stock to a new high. What are the chances that the previous high of maybe 1680, 1690 will be taken out. What are the charts telling you?
So the stock has been very gradually and consistently trending up, and right now also the indicators are quite positive. So we continue to have a positive bias. I think near-term support lies at 1600 levels, and well, why not? We can see the stock moving beyond the previous high.
Dharmeshi, would you step in on CDSL, sir?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these are the few options where you can be a consistent SIP kind of a compounder. So one can put in money definitely. And market size go up, whether the market goes up, down, CDSL, BAC, these are the companies which will keep on, I mean, listed plays getting acclimated and revenues will go up only. So it's a fair buy.
Okay. We also have, we'll just keep an eye out on the rupee also. It's hit a record low after weaker than expected GDP data as well. So we'll just keep one eye there too, because that will be another factor that the RBI will have to keep an eye out on. Meanwhile, we're getting some fresh figures from the auto sales as well. Bajaj Auto has come out with the numbers, 4.2 lakh units versus a poll of 4.1 lakh units. So slightly better than estimates for November sales on Bajaj Auto right there. Then Meshji, coming to you particularly, how are you really looking at the sales figures? It's been a mixed bag yet again, with Hyundai reporting disappointing sales, whereas Maruti still, about a 10% uptick right there. Passenger vehicles continue to grow, but commercial vehicles are still disappointing at this point in time. How would you really navigate through the auto moves? Of course, we do know that the commentary has been rather towards the negative side from most of the companies' management's post Q2 on the muted demand that they're seeing, especially in the urban areas. Your sense, sir?
I mean, even the numbers are very muted. If you look at domestic sales of two-wheelers, that has been bad. Even Bajaj Auto is 7% down on the domestic sales number. So TVS also, it's basically because of exports in EVs, they were able to perform a better number. So, I mean, you have to be very stock specific here. TVS has been doing exceptionally well, whether through exports, domestic. I mean, the final bottom number is that their top line and bottom line is getting, double digit kind of a growth. So they have been playing their cards well. So TVS is a top pick out there from the two-wheeler space, and M&M from the four-wheeler space. Maruti, I would give it a skip in spite of 10% kind of a growth.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 9:14, we are waiting for the market to open. Remember, we will be reacting to a disastrous second quarter performance as far as GDP is concerned, and of course, the beginning of the FNO expiry. Red all around, 43 points lower on the Nifty, 24,055. Then IT index is on a back foot. Bank Nifty starts with almost half a percentage point downtick, 220 points lower, and the NSE 500, the biggest measure that we track, is down 55. A very quick look on what the index heavyweights are doing as far as the top 10 of them are concerned. The first look is that all 10 are down except for Tata Motors, up 0.2%, 788. Let's look at the top losers. Infosys, 1 percentage point lower, 1839. Lever is 25 points lower, 2471. ICICI Bank 8 rupees lower, Reliance 8 rupees lower, and of course HDFC Bank 4.8 rupees lower at 1791. A very quick look at what's happening on the FNO space in terms of gainers. Let's look at where traction is coming in. Adani Green, another 8 percentage point uptick, 1430. You have Dixon Technologies showing 1.6% higher, 16,063. A quick look into auto, because those are the ones that are reacting to numbers. M&M in the green, but barely so, 2967. Tata Motors in the green. Maruti, a 10% uptick in monthly sales, which is good, 1.5% higher, 11,250. iShare is down 0.7%. You have a downtick coming in as also Motherson in terms of auto ancillaries. A quick one on NSE 500. Let us see where traction is on the green side. Okay, Cochin Shipyard 4 percentage points higher, 1639. Aster DM, nice pricing in terms of how the stock has been sold to the institutional investors, 3.5% higher, 517. A strong show coming into Suven Pharma, 3.8% higher, 1355. CAMS, a digit change, Sakshi, 5,000 now, 5,026, 2.2% higher. And of course, a green tick on Maruti as well, 1.4 percentage higher. My apologies, Biocon, 1.3% higher, 370. Anything that interestingly looks good on the long side, Vaishali, that you'd like to do?
Yes, so Maruti, as you just said, I think Maruti makes a fair value buy right now. So even for a positional trade, I think there is limited downside. 10,300 acts as a very good support, and today we are seeing good pickup coming in that. So for a new buying strategy to accumulate, I think Maruti makes a good level to start buying. Besides that, well, not much to say. Let's wait for some time. But yes, Maruti and Tata Motors also for a bounce back.
Okay, got that. So we'll keep an eye out on the auto space right there. Continuing, Maruti remains the top mover on the Nifty today, 1.7% higher. Among the sectors, it's only pharma, consumer durables, autos, and some media stocks that are holding up. Rest of the market pockets have all slipped into the red in terms of the sectors. Even the broader markets are down by 0.2% now. Realty, metals, banks, IT, PSU banks, oil and gas, all of them have slipped. Oil and gas is the one which is lagging the most, about 0.8% odd or so. You have Reliance Industries that's down by 0.5% at 1280 odd levels. So we'll keep an eye out on that. By about 1%, you have Adani leading with about 6% move on the higher side. Adani Energy Solutions also buzzing strongly in trade. Then you have Adani Ports also opening about 0.5% higher in trade as well. So that's the kind of move that we are seeing across the board on the Adani group. Apart from this, within the F&O space, there are some interesting names. PVR Inox is up 3.5%. You have Petronet LNG that's up 2%. Dixon Technologies that's up 2.5% as well. Let's get Dharmeshji to talk about Dixon. That's been an interesting name, and we've tracked this quite a lot in the EMS play when it had unfolded in the big first half of this year as well. Both Dixon, Keynes have had a solid run up as well before the correction stepped in on the overall markets. Fresh buying reports coming in on Dixon Tech with their new China Plus One strategies coming in. Your sense on how should one be really looking at this one? It's still up 25% odd in the last 3 months. Do you think further momentum can be built on and one can still buy on this one, sir?
Yeah, definitely, Saki. I mean, you have very limited choices in this space, and this company has been doing phenomenally well. So, when compared to Ember, this is a more, universal player with a product range being much better than what Ember Enterprises can offer. So, and it's not only China Plus One, even they are suppliers to most of the Chinese companies as well. So that way, premium is what is they are enjoying that. Only thing is valuation part. So, but that has been the case with Dixon for last 4 5 years. Every time the valuation was way above. If you are happy with that, I mean, you don't have a problem with the traditional valuation multiples, then Dixon definitely is a great buy and will continue to outperform for next 3 4 years. Because fundamentally, the business wise, everything is in place. It's like balloon beverages. So you can compare the both stocks on the pure business play, return on equity, the cash flows they are generating.
Into the markets on the broader sense, as was expected, it's a 100-point downtick on the Nifty, a third of a percent lower. This is the reaction that is coming to bear as far as the quarterly GDP numbers are concerned. Let's just again evaluate the daily chart of the Nifty. We now have about the 200-day DMA being at 23,500. That's pretty far off, but let us see how it goes. Strong show coming into other defense plays. The moment you see Cochin acting up on the green, you have a sharp move coming in on Garden Reach as well, 1.7% higher. Cochin is circuit up 5%. So the next course of action is on Garden Reach, 1710. You have Hindustan Aeronautics 1 percentage point higher, 4512. BEML in the green, and Paras Defense also 1/3% higher. Railway stocks, a quick detour. Let us see what RV NL is doing. 1.5% higher, 442. That's the only one that I can talk about in terms of strength. A bit of profit booking happening in RailTel. Let's look at the PSU theme. How is it doing? In terms of gainers, you have Cochin and Mazgaon, Garden Reach as well. Hutco is doing pretty well, 1.3% higher. National Aluminium 1 percentage point higher, 244, and of course Coal India 1/3% higher. Anything else that should be catching our attention in terms of volume buzzers? No, it's only Cochin and to some extent India Cement. Okay, 1/3% higher, 367. Any view, Vaishali, on India Cement?
So India Cement, actually the stock has been really consolidating at these levels for a very long time. So I would say once it sustains, I mean, it has been a very long consolidation. So I would say it's a range of 385 to 350. So once we see the stock moving about 385, it would get into a good strong uptrend. So for now, it's just a sideways move.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as the cement space is concerned. Let's also look at some of the other pockets which are showing us some strength. Zomato is again up about 1% now, 282.4 now coming in on Zomato. There's also a slight uptick on Swiggy. That's about 0.3% higher in trade. Let's get Dharmeshji to help us understand, between the both, is it getting more difficult to choose which, one should you be really looking forward to? Swiggy is again upping its game as far as its Instamart is concerned. It's in fact giving deliveries in the shortest duration, that's 8 minutes out of all of them that are existing, the players as well. Valuation comfort, do you think still provides that edge to Swiggy, or should one stay with the leader, which is still profitable, Zomato?
See, on a peer-to-peer comparison, valuation comfort is definitely there with Swiggy, and both are getting their businesses right. Both are moving towards the profitability trajectory, operating profit. But the
Yeah.
real problem will arise when Amazon steps in with the same business model.
Yeah.
So they've already announced. So, I mean, trading pace will be there, but once that elephant enters the room and starts dancing, it will be difficult for these two guys. They will push two corners. That is what is my sense.
Okay, got that. Will be more difficult once more players come in as well. But consumer durables is picking up pace now. You Kajaria, Ceramics, Havells now picking up a lot of pace as well. Vaishali, we do know how the condition is worsening in metros in terms of the air quality. A lot of us are buying additional, air purifiers for additional rooms. More and more houses are going for 2 or 3 air purifiers now, rather than the one that they had initially started off with. How are you really looking at, trends emerge within the consumer durable space?
So, well, I would talk about Amber to start. So that is one stock which we still like. The other stock what we like is, of course, Voltas. So they are continuing to stay in the trend, but Amber is quite a good buy even now.
Okay, Amber is a good buy even now. Shail, you would have had, the purest air to breathe in the last 2.5 weeks or so in France. What was the AQI there?
They did not have an AQI, Sakshi, they don't measure it.
Okay, I'm guessing you must be finding it extremely difficult to breathe after that 2.5 weeks here in that gas chamber that we are living in right now in Delhi.
See, we have to live with what we are given with. I think there is this deep understanding of how to navigate this problem, Sakshi. I remember 20 years ago, very few homes had air conditioners, and we were single air conditioner families, maybe the drawing room, maybe the couple's bedroom, and slowly but surely AC started creeping into children's bedroom, into the drawing room, and now all homes have all rooms which have AC. Vaishali, I'm talking about North India. No, Mumbai matter whether you have an AC in 2 rooms or what is it called, 1 BHK. So it's okay.
Yes,
But
one
up
BHK.
north, Sakshi, we will have this trend
OT.
again that ACs and air purifiers will come together to form one single unit. So give it 2 or 3 years, the AC that you have in the home will have an air purifier built in. Sad but true. What can be done?
True. Let's get Dharmeshji to also talk about it. Consumer durables for you, sir. Does it sound interesting with the kind of newer, innovations that could be coming in?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the innovation which strategy just said, and that will serve most of the purpose. I mean, the ACs with air purifier, nothing like that. But there has been slowdown in the consumer durable space. If you do the dealer check, the run rate has been quite slow, even with Black Friday sale and everything coming into the play. The sales did not pick up, and the worry is because input prices have gone up. Look at the prices of copper, aluminum. These all prices are going up. Eventually, the margins will come into play, and we are sitting into a cold weather now, winter season. So again, requirement of ACs are lesser in most part of the India. So we see a more of a consolidation kind of a phase, and let's see how the margins pan out. So not a buyer currently, for example, a Whirlpool or a Voltas. We are not a buyer now.
Buyer right now. Okay. The other space there, Meshji, that we could focus on is in the defense space. Again, Cochin Shipyard is up by 5% odd. The order flow news is again propelled the stock higher. And across the board, the gains continue slowly and steadily. GRSC is up 1.5%. You have DCX Systems up 4%. Mazagon Dock about 1.5% up in trade. Do you think the worst is for sure behind these defense majors? Should one, having a long-term eye on the defense space and with the stocks in their portfolio at higher prices, should one look to average some of these stocks right now at the current levels?
Yeah, definitely, Sakshi. If you're having a horizon of 3 to 5 years,
Yeah.
in between 3 months, 4 months, kind of a slowdown may happen, 30-40% kind of a sharp correction may happen because the liquidity, the float is very low in these kind of a company. So be prepared for that. But structurally, I mean, this is one sector which is totally insulated from any consumption because it's a consumer is the government itself. The defense sector is the consumer which is funded to the government, and it can never go out of the scheme of things. And given the geopolitical scenario and how India is emerging as a superpower, you have to build your defense system to the best of the ability. So that way, it's a buy when every decline. So I started the conversation with defense being the best sector to put your money into.
Dharmeshji, thank you so much for your wonderful time that you've spent with us. Let's hope that this GDP shocker gets worked out of the system, and I live with the fact that you're looking forward to an increase in interest rates, rather a cut in borrowing costs. Let's see what happens on Friday. But till then, have a nice day and a nice week. Looking forward to meeting you again. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Let's get Vaishali into the conversation. The markets, ladies and gentlemen, continue to slip. You have the 4 major indexes trading in the red. And if you look at the advanced decline ratio across the board, it's pretty much even Stevens. Actually, bears have an advantage. 100 stocks in the red versus 1039 which are in the green. Sakshi and I track 19 indices for you. 10 are in the red, 9 in the green. The Nifty Pharma index is going great guns, and this is something to be looked at. But catching attention is CAMS, and catching attention is CDSL. CAMS for you, Vaishali, a digit change, and of course a very sharp rally on today. 5100 for you, 5115, 4% higher. Is this momentum worth chasing?
Well, I would not recommend a fresh buy at these levels, but I'm sure this was on the radar for many since a very long time and it's doing very well. So continue holding with the trailing stop loss. I think this can go even towards 53, 5500 in near term. So to those who are aggressive traders can do so with today's lower stop loss.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as CAMS is concerned, and we'll keep an eye out on this brokerage houses space. CDSL, CAMS, they've been both buzzing in trades recently as well. The other pocket that I wanted to draw your attention is the sugar space also, where Shali, we've been seeing some bounces come back into this entire space. Today again, stocks like KCP Sugar is up 5.5%, Zimbabwe is up to Magad Sugar is also buzzing in trade. What's in the offering for the entire space? Do you see this trend continuing and building up strong now from here on? Any key stocks that you'd like to name?
So actually, Praj, Balrampur Chini all have shown good momentum ever since the election outcome, Maharashtra election was out. And these sugar stocks have done very well. So I think they should continue, especially Praj. I mean, if you see Praj, India Glycol, they are all showing a very strong uptrend. So these are the stocks which I would be focusing on.
Okay. Right.
Sakshi, I think Tata, my apologies, Tata Motors. This is showing signs of an uptick. The price that I see on my screen is 794, 1 percentage point higher. Remember, this is an auto-led theme that is doing pretty well as far as prices are concerned, overall as well. Let's look at the advanced decline ratio within the auto space. Okay, more gainers than losers, led by Maruti, led by TVS Motors. Tata Motors 0.5 percentage higher. Is there a rise in open interest? No, there is a cut. So therefore, short covering is what is happening. A quick one on Tata Motors, Vaishali.
Yes, so Tata Motors, I think very appropriate levels to, for at least for trading perspective to start with. If you see, it's making a rounding bottom, and I think a good sharp fall has already occurred. Indicators are showing signs of a bounce back. So I think take 780 as a support and look for a target of 810 to start with.
Okay, got that. Right, so that's as far as the auto space is also concerned. You know, real estate is picking up smart move, about 2% higher now on the real estate sector. It's moved to the top spot among the sectors as well. Strong moves being seen across Phoenix Mills, Godrej Properties, Macrotech, Oberoi, DLF, Raymond also. How are you really looking at the real estate pack now? Especially Macrotech has been a clear outperformer. Would you stick with Macrotech? Do you think others are also looking attractive now, maybe like a Godrej Properties? How are you looking at the momentum there?
So overall, the realty sector had corrected, and now once again it's showing some signs of revival. So yes, all these stocks look good. DLF, Godrej Properties, even Macrotech, they are all quite favorable at these levels. I would say we are seeing a good consolidation at these levels. Let this stock move above 1320, 1330. I'm talking about Macrotech. It will show targets of 1450. So yes, I think all these look good.
Okay.
In fact, there is one stock which comes
Sakshi,
to
while
mind.
we continue to... Yeah, please continue.
Have a look at Jupiter Wagon. We were talking about railways.
Yeah, Vaishali, continue.
Yes, so Jupiter Wagon, it is at 500 levels and long-term trend line also. Once we see the stock moving above that, it's a trend line breakout. So if you see the stock going above 505, I think this is one stock which can give us good returns.
That's something that can be looked forward to. But CAMS, 4% higher. This is a breakout that's happening. And what is also moving is Bharat Dynamics. This is again the defense theme that is doing pretty well. Remember, Friday was a good day as far as Bharat Dynamics was concerned, and we have a nice uptick happening on Bharat Dynamics. Nice chart as well. Any view that you would have on Bharat Dynamics for today, Vaishali? It's a sectoral theme that's doing pretty well.
In fact, this is again another stock which we constantly recommend. I'll just see the chart once again. Yes, so right now it's a resistance at 200-day moving average, 3 candles consolidating at 1177. So above that, we need to see a close above that, and more so above 1230. Then I think it's a good up move coming in days to come. So yes, a stock worth looking at.
How sharply defense is moving primarily on account of the good show that Cochin started with, still on circuit as far as the stock is concerned. Pharma buzzing with gains. Natco 2.3% higher, 1407. Let's look at the all-time highs in the pharma space or 52-week highs that are there. Well, none today. Laurus Labs, a third of a percent higher, 569. This is something which is best left untouched. How about the PSU banking space? How is it moving in terms of gainers? This is PNB, 0.26% higher, SBI 0.2% higher, and Bank of Baroda 247.2% higher. This is how it is as far as gains are concerned. Sakshi, NSE 500 is back in the green, 22,720, 33 points higher. That's a good move that is coming in. Let me just come up with a market map for NSE 500 and let us see how stocks are moving in terms of gainers beyond 5%. Okay, there are 3. Adani Green 7% higher, Dixon 5.3% higher, Cochin 5% higher. There are 9 stocks that are up between 3 and 5%. Some we've discussed, which is Aster DM, CAMS, and of course Aditya Birla AMC. This is something that we've been pointing out since 700 rupees, now 4.4% higher. This is the wealth management space which is moving in good move. Stocks that are slipping, BASF, Home First, very high volumes today, maybe a block deal. Of course, AG volumes, maybe very nice chart, but it's so high. Well, you want to step in, Dixon?
Yes, are very indicators right now. So those who really want to participate can do it with today's lowest stop loss because the trend is intact.
Even Keynes has pulled up now, Vaishali, and 4% higher for Keynes as well, and both of them are now moving in tandem. Between the two, where do you think the charts are actually favoring the continuation in momentum?
Both are so similar, but I think Keynes will stand a better. Being a cash stock, I think it's easy to maneuver. I would look at Keynes there.
Okay, Keynes will be a better one at this current levels as far as the charts are concerned. A lot of market breadth is improving now. A lot of sectors are moving up into the green as well. You can see realty, which is now up 1.4%. Consumer durables, that's up 1%. Media stocks nearly a percent higher. Auto stocks nearly a percent higher now. Even the broader markets have turned positive. Small caps are up 0.5%. Almost 0.5% of an uptick even coming in for the mid caps as well. Shell has already marked how Nifty 500 is moving up strong now. Metals, PSU banks, and even IT is now garnering some more space at this current level. From within the IT pack, let's quickly see if there is anything that's looking interesting. You have Wipro, that's nearly up 1%. Tech Mahindra, Mphasis, HCL Tech, and LTI Mindtree will be important to track. Remember, for Wipro viewers, It's turned X bonus today. So in case you have the stock by the end of the session today in your accounts, then you will be eligible for the 1:1 bonus that will be announced, that has been announced by the firm right there. Vaishali, haven't discussed the IT pack with you. How are you assessing the moves here, and what would you say on stocks like Wipro now?
So actually, last week also when market was really so indecisive, but it was the IT which was continuing to be an
Yes.
outperformer. So IT index on the whole, I think there is a good strength seen even now. And Wipro also is a very gradual, slow and steady mover. So I think it's good enough. I mean, one can continue holding, keep elevate the stop losses to around 565, 570, and probably this can go at 620.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as the IT pack is concerned. Let's also look at some of the other pockets then that are buzzing in trade within the small caps and the mid caps. Let's see what else is looking positive at this point in time. Small caps, in fact, you don't have many names right there that one can really mark with. Let's look at the mid caps. So you have Torrent Power that's picking up pace now, 5.5% higher. And I think it's the entire power space that's garnering more strength. REC PFC, even NHPC Power Grid, that's also buzzing. Tata Power is buzzing. CG Power is buzzing in trade too. So the power theme is somehow coming back too. Do you think there is strength in looking at the entire power space right now, Vaishali? Anything that looks promising for the long term?
Yes, I do agree because if you see, look at Torrent Power also, it is
Yeah.
coming out of the consolidation. It's coming above the moving averages also. So this is one stock. Tata Power, still a lot of scope for higher levels. And
Hmm.
of course, HPL Power and CG Power, they are also showing a lot of strength. So long-term perspective, I think these are still very good.
Got that.
Okay, IT is now in the green. The index itself now coming up 39, 37 points higher. Let us see how it is placed when it comes to the chart structure. The IT index at the moment is maybe after a 3-day beating on the markets, showing signs of again coming up 432010 as far as prices are concerned. Let's look at the stocks that are contributing to the IT indices move. Okay, Wipro, Sakshi is already mentioned. Emphasis 0.7% higher. Tech Mahindra 0.7% higher. Are there any volume buzzers? Nothing much in the first half an hour of trade as far as prices and volumes are concerned. Let's drill deeper into NSE 500. Manyavar is not something that we track, but I need to mark it 3 percentage points higher. Volume 7 generally don't discuss, but a strong move coming in here on fairly decent volumes. Vaishali, any clue on Suven Pharma 1320? This is one of those quiet underachievers that we've seen doing pretty well on the charts. What are they telling you?
Again, a very quiet, slow mover stock, but gradually showing strength. So it did make an attempt to go towards the previous high 1350 levels. So once we see the stock going above that and sustaining 1352, I think this is ready for target of 1380.
Okay. All right, got that. So that's as far as the pharma space is concerned. Within the broader markets, I just wanted to mark Pudumji paper products. That's up 17% last many days as well on Pudumji paper. Vaishali, do you track this stock within the paper space? Is anything specific to be tracked here by traders?
I actually don't, but well, the way the stock is moving, to those who are having, well, continue the rally is yet to go on.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as the strong moves on Pudumji paper is concerned. Let's also pull up some of the other stocks that we can discuss now within metals pack now. That's also shining now. Right, about 0.4% higher. That's pulled up pace. Let's look at some of the stocks there. So JSW Steel, Vedanta, Hindalco, NMDC, Tata Steel, Nalco. Some strength returning to this space that was lost in the interim. Your own sense now, Vaishali, within the metals pack, do you see things turning brighter for this entire space anytime soon?
It's hard to tell, but few of the stocks are very much at very good
Yeah.
example, say at 110, 111, that was the bottom fishing stock at those levels.
Hmm. Hmm.
Again, if you look at Vedanta, nothing much happening. It's just consolidating. There is no weakness seen. So maybe one fine day we see the stock really surging high. So 440 is the support. Nalco we have always spoken about. So yes, JSPL is showing strength. So well, for momentum basis, I mean, just try to catch the momentum and finish the trade. But I think for long-term perspective, I think these stocks are at good levels to start buying. Tata Steel.
Let's shift focus and look at gainers in terms of all-time highs. Are there any stocks that have hit a good move on the long side? No, these are the names that I won't mark. Yes, KNS Technologies, 6,200 almost, 3.5% higher. We have CAMS, which you've discussed. Aditya Birla, again a record high, but remember this has been a very long term underperformer in the entire wealth management space. When you look at the performances of Anand Rathi, when you look at the performances of HDFC, AMC, UTI, AMC, and the other listed spaces, Aditya Birla Asset Management, Vaishali, what are the charts telling you?
Which one is that? I'm not actually tracking this. What is the price of the stock? 885, you said, right? Unfortunately,
Yes.
I don't have this chart.
No, no worries at all. Remember, the IPO was somewhere around 700 or so. I'll get you the right number. But this is something that you need to look at. Long-term underperformance might just get sort of purchased into. What else is moving? Ramco Systems, 12% higher. I can't remember the last time I saw Ramco doing so well. And this is on very heavy volumes. Ramco Systems, Vaishali, do you have the chart here? 468.
Yes, so Ramco system, I do have the chart and showing a lot of strength, giving a breakout above 455. It has given a breakout. So I think the stock is surging high, a lot of strength seen for higher targets.
Okay. Go on. Right, so we'll keep an eye out on this space as well. Cement space is something that's garnering even more strength. Now Vaishali circling back to that space again. Ultratech, Grasim now picking up pace. Even the mid-cap cement names are looking better now, return coming in. And of course, we've seen this, Jan to March or period really look good for the construction, building materials space always. There's high demand for this entire space there. Is it a good enough time to start building on positions within the cement pack, and where exactly?
I would agree. So, see, actually, so far, Ramco Cement has been an outperformer. So, I think
Yeah.
one can wait for a dip to buy. But new entry, I think Grasim is one stock, Ultratech is another one. These are good levels to start focusing on.
Okay, got that. So we'll keep an eye out on the cement space also, viewers. Looking interesting, and along with it, the building material space is also pulling up. So have tile makers, maybe interior decorator names like Green Lam Industries, maybe Kajaria. All of them are also picking up pace. So we look at those spaces as well. But apart from that, let's also pull up some other interesting ones that Vaishali can give us a sense on. Vaishali, from the broader markets, again I will pull up this one name which is looking interesting. Asahi Songwon. is up by 8.3% in trade. After a long haul, this stock is again coming back in focus. Do you track this at all, Asahi Songwon?
I'll just have a look. I don't actually, but I'll just
So
have a
it's
look.
413 right now. It's 8.2% higher. In the last 5 days or so, there's been just today's momentum that's actually noteworthy. In the last 1 month, it's actually lost ground about 6 odd percent. But year to date, it's up by 36%. What's moving here?
So I would say wait for it to cross 430 levels. Once
Okay.
it sustains above that, it would be coming out of its consolidation and also about 200-day moving average. So this level would make a good.
Okay. One interesting stock, Sakshi, to look at will be Syngene. This is at the moment on a tier 948, and I believe yes, this is a record high. Correct. So a nice 2 weekly fortnight of upticks, which started from 842 rupee levels and 948. Vaishali, do we chase momentum on Syngene?
I have said, I think why not? Because chart of all periodicities are showing a lot of strength. So I think it's ready for still further higher targets.
Okay, let me just check the volume picture on Syngene. 1.8% higher, and we have somewhere like 1,82,000 shares that have been traded. Let me see what the 5-day average is on Syngene, because this is a move that is coming on, and let us see whether volume is giving strength to Syngene. Okay, 5-day average is 1276, 9,86,000 shares. We are still way below that, but keep an eye out on Syngene. The breakout is very strong, and it's on a consistent uptick as far as the last fortnight is concerned. What else is buzzing in terms of top traded gainers? Adani still there, Dixon maintaining strength. You have NTPC Green 2.5% higher, Vari Energy 2.3% higher. A strong move coming into Varun Beverages along with Bikaji Foods. So this is a theme that we've been tracking. A strong show on CAMS that we've discussed, and of course Torrent Power 4.5% higher, 1581. So that is how the structure is at 955. The Nifty continues to slip, but it has improved its positioning. 100 points lower earlier, now down just 20. Let's look at the contributory list of pullers and draggers on the Nifty. Sun Pharma adding 7 points in the green, Maruti adding 8 points, Ultratech Cement 4.5, Infosys and HCL Tech 4 points each. What is pulling the Nifty lower? It's the index heavyweights. HDFC Bank negative 1% down, 17 points on the red. Reliance 9 points on the red, and L&T 11 points on the red. Sakshi.
Right. Okay. We'll keep an eye out on this piece too. Let's look at what else is pulling up in trade. Pharma clearly is picking up further strength. Natco is now 4% higher. Torrent Pharma is now 2%. Glenmark, Alchem Laboratories, Sun Pharma, all of them, they are actually buzzing in trade. You have stocks like Apollo Hospitals that is pulling up in pace as well, 1.6% higher. Healthcare space particularly, Vaishali, Apollo Hospitals, what would you suggest here?
Well, I think really nothing much happening, but it's a sideways move. But compared to that, I look at Aster DM. Those are the stocks which are showing a lot of strength. So yes, that is one stock which is positive. But Apollo right now is just into consolidation.
Okay, got that. 4 minutes to wrap up the trade. Vaishali, anything for the day that you'd like to recommend in terms of key stocks that one can keep an eye out on?
So, well, three stocks to my liking right now. One is Grasim, as I said. The other one is, I think I would look at Zydus also, because Zydus is, as a whole pharma pack, is showing strength. I think Zydus is showing, uh, giving some intraday trade also. and ICICI Bank. 3 stocks to my liking right now.
Okay, got that. And just as we inch closer to close the morning edition, the markets are showing some signs of green, at least on the Nifty 24,137, 5 points higher. We hope that it stays and builds on from here. Shriram Finance is now picking up pace, 2.2% higher. We'll keep an eye out on that stock also as the day progresses. We'll start wrapping up now. Thank you so much, Vaishali, for being with us on the morning edition to help us with all those key insights on various sectors and stocks that we discussed with you. Always a pleasure to host you with us on Business Today and on Market Today as well. The Nifty is flattish with the positive bias, viewers, but the Nifty Bank is still lagging about 0.3% lower in trade at 51,900 on thereabouts, about 150 odd points lower in trade. But what's buzzing is the rate pack, 1.5% now, almost higher. It's the top moving sectoral index, 1.3% uptake for consumer durables. Pharma, broader markets, autos, IT, metals, these are the pockets that are pulling up. Among the Nifty movers, you have Shriram Finance, like I pointed. It's now the top mover, 2% up. Maruti is gaining pace, 1.7% higher now. Sun Pharma, Apollo Hospitals, Grasim remains as the top movers. On the downside, you have HDFC Life that's dragging 1.2% lower. IndusInd Bank, Bajaj Finance, Cipla, HUL and HDFC Bank not really contributing to the trade today. Oil and gas is the sector which is taking a back foot, 0.5% lower in trade. You have private banks, PSU banks, financial services. So the banking space not really participating right now. Within the PSU stocks, you have NHPC, Coal India, REC, Steel Authority. These are the stocks that are buzzing. In the F&O space, you have stocks like Adani Green, that's up 6%. Torrent Pharma, Dixon Tech, Ramco Cements, Macrotech, all of them as the top. Gas, Adani, we have JSW Energy, Oil India as the stocks, and PB Fintech, which are actually dragging in trade, about 2 to 4% of a loss right there. Shail, anything else that you'd like to mark before we end?
Sakshi, the market is in the green. Let's see how it pans out as far as the day is concerned. But I would focus on the pharma space, which is looking good, as also on individual stock performances in the defense space. Maybe it's time to review Motilal Oswal Defense Fund. Remember, it was launched with great fanfare. It collected 2,300 crore rupees and then started with a NAV of 10 rupees. The NAV now is at 8.77% rupees. So it's at a discount. That is something.
Okay, got that. We'll wrap it up at that, viewers. Thank you so much for being with us in the morning edition, but do stay tuned. We'll continue to track the market move throughout the course of the day for you. So stay tuned with us on Business Today.
As winter sets in, dense fog often blankets parts of North India, significantly in fact impacting airports like that of Delhi, Jaipur, Bengaluru and nothing like the near to it, that is Lucknow. Well, it is very important for you to know that the most affected airports with visibility sometimes like this drops to that of 50 meters and flights still manage to take off and land thanks to a mix of cutting